Yes, Nakam, thank you very much for joining me. Let me listen you first. You will clarify some points about our last discussion. So then I will start asking questions. Your introduction already, Malik introduced you with a very detailed introduction. So I think so. You can introduce again if you want. But every listener knows you very well.
Okay. Well, then if that is so, hi Malik.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Good. You didn't shave today.
Yeah. Sir, I was so much busy in the activities and I've just rushed from the office and just joined to you this meeting. I was so excited that I was waiting for the last 3-4 days to talk to you. And it's really
Oh,
great that I am talking to you right now.
okay. Well, thank you very much. So let me first thank you again for having me on the show. Also, it's very nice to see the street behind you. Is that street in Karachi, Malik?
No, sir, it's in Lahore.
Lahore. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I heard that Lahore is a small city.
No, sir, I don't agree with you. Lahore, though it's smaller than Karachi, but still is one of the beautiful cities of the Pakistan and one of the city which you have to give the great importance. I think after Karachi and Islamabad, if you have to rate at number 3, then definitely it's Lahore, no doubt about it.
And the size, how many people?
Sir, let me tell you, it is the biggest province of Pakistan, that is Punjab. It is the capital of Punjab, and if you talk about the population, I think it's the population of Lahore is much bigger than the population of the entire your country.
I know. That's why I said it's a small city. Yeah. So yeah, but you were busy. You were not looking up, so you didn't catch my joke. Yes, that's why I said so. So I wanted I wanted to clarify something about our last call. We spoke about Alexa, and maybe although I did listen again to the whole show, and it might have sounded for people that my opinion is that Alexa is not in Jerusalem or Alexa is in Saudi. So I just want to mention that I presented a view of several scholars in the world, and I do have documentation about that, all sorts of documents and research and explanations of why this is so or what it is so. But this is not my opinion. And in any case, I did have a few talks. I have a lot of one-on-one long chats with people from Pakistan and from all over the world, thanks to this initiative, and thanks to Rihan and what he does to unite people around the globe. And I understood that I knew that, but I understood that this is very delicate issue, of course. And second, that this is a question of belief and of religion. So that I don't think that it is right for me to go. And obviously, I do not judge. Second, I do not argue about religion and belief. And third, I was just mentioning something very interesting that I read from scholars. I'm a very curious guy, and I'm when we started to discuss things about Pakistan and about Palestinians and Arabs and Jews, etc. This topic came up to me too. So if somebody is willing or wants to go into detail and to research, he will find these opinions as well. But just I wanted to clarify, this is not my opinion. I am not an expert on Islam or on Al-Aqsa, and this is something that I found and I read, and I found it very interesting. But that's not my opinion.
Right.
So I just wanted to clarify that, and I am
Right,
here
sir.
to make I am here to make human bridges and to make friends with you
Absolutely, sir.
and with your
Absolutely.
yeah, and with you and with
Sir,
your audience and with Saif and with everybody else. So I'm not here
sir,
to argue about religion or about politics. Also, I can tell my opinions in some areas. I saw that you prepared 5 kilometers of questions for me,
sir.
and some of them good,
Sir,
tough ones.
the good thing I like about your interview last time, I think before the start of the interview, you said we are not imposing our views on somebody else. They should believe us. But if they are convinced, well and good. If they are not convinced, it is up to their choice. So we are not imposing or putting something on them that you must believe in it. We are just giving a clarification. Somebody listen it, well and good. If somebody is not convinced, definitely we can't do anything for that. Sir, now the question last from your last show's reaction, there was a lot of questions and there were different articles. Now people are very much, they have got one reaction that why Israel is
Talk slower. Talk
now
slower.
convincing the
Malik,
United Arab Emirates.
Malik,
Sir,
talk slower and less loud.
okay,
Because it's hard to understand. I want to
okay, sir,
understand it. Thank you.
okay. Sir, now the point is, now the people believe that why Israel is making efforts to believe or to force the country to recognize. Why United Arab Emirates? Why it takes so long to recognize Israel? If there is something fault, therefore it's taken so long. So things are not that simple. There was one of the questions I received, and they've given this question for you to ask that why United Arab Emirates? Sir, if it was correct, it should have been correct many years ago. They should have believed it. But why? They think it is Israel playing some sort of a game like America, Israel, and they are playing a game by force or by choice or by giving them the different kind of interest. Therefore, United Arab Emirates have accepted it. Otherwise, the reality is something else. This is the questions that people ask that I should get your opinion on this one.
So let me just see if I understand properly. You're asking me why did it take so many years to make peace with the Arab Emirates?
Sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's to begin with. I can tell you that from what I know, and only from the media, from what I know,
Sir.
that the Arab Emirates, the United Arab Emirates, and also Bahrain, and probably,
Sir.
and also Sudan, and also some other
Exactly.
countries, we have relationships under the radar for many years. For many years. Why they did not choose to go out in the light to make this agreement? This is a wonderful question. I have no idea why. But I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what the United States promised or gave or did or something. But what I can tell you is only that there is a lot of misinformation in the public, in your country, some in my country, in other countries as well. There's a huge amount of misinformation. For example, there is a gentleman from Pakistan who is constantly asking me. I'm about to open a coaching course of personal development in order to help people to develop. And you can see that in the website, in the Facebook group that I opened, and it's something that I'm about to open sometimes next week. I was just too busy to start with it, but there's a lot of pressure and goodwill to start it. And one of the guys there...
Sir, I have planned in the second part of interview, I will come to the personal development. Yes, we have got the question for you, but just want to get the little clarification from you on this part. But I think that, sir, you have given a very good reply that I don't want to comment on it because I don't have that much knowledge. You are saying that why UAE is accepting right now, why taking too long. you are saying I don't know the answer of this
No,
question.
but yes, but I want to give you another explanation as well. I want to
Sir,
explain
sir,
something that there are a lot of false beliefs and misconceptions.
sir.
So I was telling you about this gentleman from Pakistan that is constantly asking for my question to help him become a rich person. And
Right, sir.
by asking that, he said, well, you guys know what to do and how to do and etc. etc. And I said, look, why do you believe that we know everything? He said, well, the Israelis are controlling the world. I said, the Israelis are not controlling the world, and that's nonsense. That's a
Sir,
misconception. That's false. So can you imagine that I was a guy who controls the world? Would I spend time with you and Saif and with other people chatting on Messenger if I was controlling the
okay.
world? No way. So I don't know why it took so long, but I can think of um, of things that were not in synchronization between the Arab nations. And years ago, maybe 5 years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, or maybe even 1 year ago, when the Arab League was meeting all together, maybe they wanted to show one face. They wanted to be on
Sir,
one front. And maybe that is why they decided not to do. Why did they decide to do it now? We were just as surprised as you. And maybe it has to do with elections coming for Trump and elections coming from Netanyahu. I don't know. They both need some very good news, and maybe that is what is pushing them. So I don't know. The truth is that I don't know why. Why now? Why not before? I have no idea. I lost
so
you.
right now, sir, sir, right now coming toward the second part of the interview, that was about your personal development. Sir, we have received some questions related to personal development. The number one question is, sir, how one can live happily? A simple formula. I want to live a very happy life. Sir, what you will suggest? What is the way forward for that gentleman?
Well, you're asking the $1 million question. Again, if I knew how to live happily, I would not waste my time. But you know what? If I knew how to live happily, I would be doing just exactly what I'm doing now. I'll tell you why. Because
Oh, sir,
yes,
wonderful, wonderful.
yes, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because
Sir, if I just want to, sir, add one thing. Now, people here in Pakistan, one of the men has said that if your passion becomes your profession, then you will live your happiest life. And sir, I think with the one word you said, what I'm doing right now, I'm understanding this is your passion, and you are feeling so happy. Is this formula correct? Your passion becomes your profession. You are the happiest man on the earth. Is it so?
well, it's probably not a lie, but I want to clarify and to be more accurate. People think that there is a formula for being happy. There is no such thing. There is no formula to be happy. Like there is no formula to be in shape. There is no formula to be healthy. I had a good friend of mine who died of cancer. He would work out all the time. He would be in good shape. He would eat proper food. And in the end, he got cancer at 65 or 60, and he's gone. His history. So, and this is one. The second thing is that people think that the big things are those who make you happy. And but the big, like finishing a PhD, getting married, having a child, building your own house, those things are very, very important, and they make us extremely happy, but for a short time. So what really makes us happy is the small things. Okay, so the fact that Saif and you wanted me for a second interview and sent me 5 kilometers of questions, for me, this makes me very happy, because it means that you care. It means that it was meaningful. It means that we want more from it. So that makes me very happy. So the bottom line is that the small things in life are those who make us happy, and And one of the keys, and why did I say that I would be doing just exactly the same? Because one of the keys of happiness is, and the highest level of happiness is giving to others. So whenever you are unhappy, and whenever you are sad, and whenever you are overwhelmed by life and by hardship, etc., look to your left, look to your right, go help someone else. All of a sudden, your burden will be lighter. So there's always somebody less happy than you, that they have less money, less health, less luck in life. And if we go and look to the other guy and we do something for him, we will be very happy. So if I, from here to the end of times, if I could do only what I like, I would travel, teach, give, make other people happy. And I would be extremely, extremely happy. But really, the happy things are the small things in life. So for me, such a call now, I told Saif that I came out of bed because I'm not feeling well today. But I wouldn't want to miss it. This is something that I want to do. It makes me really happy to have friends who want to understand more. In fact, what I really want is to interview you guys, because I'm very curious about you guys, okay? But I hope that...
Sir, we wish you a very quick recovery of your health and hope that soon you will be fully fit and charged up again and you will be amongst us again for your third interview as well. Okay, sir, now some of the questions, sir, Saif Ali has prepared for you as well. Then I will request to Saif Ali that he can proceed with his questions now about this life and personal, your coaching, stuff like that. He's prepared some questions. Okay, Saif Ali will ask the next question, sir.
That's another 5 kilometers of questions. Go ahead.
Malak, if you have questions, you can ask, please. No problem.
Okay, sir, my question, next question is, sir, how one can prioritize its life? What should we give priority in our life? Sir, look, we have time. At the end of the day, when I sit after 24 hours, I analyze my entire day. Sir, I fail to, sir, there's one thing urgent, one thing is important. Now we have to, let's suppose my health is very important for me. I have to give the importance to my health. But there's an urgent one thing, that let's suppose today is the last date of depositing something in the bank or fees or bill extra. We are always rushing towards those urgent things, not important things. Sir, what are your thoughts? That what is the difference between importance and urgent, and how should we prioritize our life?
First, we should talk slowly, and then we can prioritize. First, we should talk slowly. But it's a lost case with you. It's too hard for you. You're getting enthusiastic, and that's why you speak.
Okay, sir, let me clarify, sir. Let me clarify this thing, sir. Actually, I was a cricket commentator.
Okay.
I used to do cricket commentary and cricket, and apart from that, cricket, hockey, basketball, when I was almost in the 8th or 9th grader. So I'm doing commentary for the last 4 to 5 years. Now, you know the game of hockey or basketball, that's so fast game that you have to run. Okay, let's suppose the ball with the A, it's going to B, B comes from the A, and then here goes, wonderful goal. So you have to charge up the crowd, and I think therefore I've got this bad habit of talking fast. I am again very much sorry for you for this fast speaking, but I will try to keep it low by speed now.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Cricket is a slow game, no? Cricket is slow. Right?
Sir, I used to do the commentary in environment there, it becomes the fast.
I see. Okay. So, to your question, I would start with 2 things. One, I would start with an analysis, not at the end of the day, of course, but at the beginning of the day. So if, and I wish that I would be able to do more of that too by myself. But I think that if you start your day with, the best thing is to start your day yesterday. So at the end of the day, not only analyze your last day, but analyze what you're going to do tomorrow. So if you have a goal, like for example, become an engineer or change the world or end poverty in your country, etc., there is the story about the professor with the big chunks first. So if you take the missions that you take upon yourself for a day, for a week, for a year, for a lifetime, if you decide what are the big pieces first and put them into your life first. So if you want, for example, to end poverty and you need for that to make a PhD or to learn, then put that in first. Because if you will do all the urgent things that come up during the day, and in the end of the day you say, well, I want to end the poverty and now I need to make a PhD, you will be dead tired, and there will be no PhD and no end of poverty. So put in the big chunks first. I will send Saif and you, I will send you a short little video, I think it is animated, that shows this story, that if you want to put in big into a jar, if you have a jar and you want to put in big stones, small stones, medium-sized stones, and then sand and then water, you should start with the big stones first, because if you put in the sand and the water, there will be no room for the big stones. So our life, if all those things of urgent and important, etc., are the stones that we want to put in a jar, I don't know if I'm clear, I hope I'm clear, then if we fill up our day with all sorts of stupid stuff and urgent stuff, sometimes it's important. Sometimes the important, if you don't do it on time, it becomes urgent. But if you do the important things, then they will not become urgent. So first put in the big stones, and for that I want to suggest a tool. If you take, I see that we lost Malik. If you take a piece of paper and you divide it into 4 quarters, and you write on one quarter important but not urgent. The second one is urgent but not important. Not important, not urgent, and the fourth one, whatever that is. So my suggestion is that I hope that you did hear what I explained, Malik. So to take if you will focus your energy on what is important and urgent, you have to get it done first. So for example, if your mother or child is sick and has a high fever, it's also very important, also very urgent, so do it right away, immediately. But because that is time sensitive. But if what you want to do is important but not urgent, put it in your calendar. Make sure that you do it. For example, let's say that you want to write a book. Okay, it's not urgent at all, but it's important for you, something that you want to do. So if you do not do every day a little bit of writing, every day, every week, and if you don't stick to that plan, the book will never happen, because there's always other stuff that we have to do, there's always urgent stuff that we want to do, etc. So put the important things first, and sometimes if you don't do the important stuff now, it will become urgent. For example, let's say that you need to cover your roof with something against water. Important, right? But now it is summer, so it's not urgent. But if you don't do it in the summer, and the rain will come in September, November, December, it all of a sudden becomes very urgent. And it's also very important, because now water is entering your house. So before, in the summer, it was just important, but it was not urgent. So if it is important, you have to do it. You cannot do it in one day, no problem. Every day do a little bit of it, so that by the time that winter comes, the important thing was done, and it doesn't become urgent. What we have to do is many times is we have things, we are doing a lot of things that are not urgent and not important. We should not do these. If we have somebody else who can do it, let's do it. If not, just simply let them go. So if you take all your chores and put them into the quadrant, you will find out this is important, this is urgent, this is urgent, this is not important, etc. And then try to ignore what is not important and not urgent, and just don't do it.
Yes, is okay. So, what is the difference between family coach and business coach? I mean, how can you clarify it?
First of all, the coaching business started started in sports. a guy, a guy named Timothy Galway. He wrote a first book about the inner game of golf. And the inner game of golf means not about the game of golf itself, but the game that we play in ourselves when we do anything. So, for example, maybe you wanted to ask me about the question of Alexa, but you didn't want to offend me. Maybe I wanted to explain something and I didn't want to hurt you. So there is an open game, there's an out game which is played out, and there is an inner game, our thoughts, our feelings, our fears, etc. So coaching started the same way that was in sports, so that in order to become a very good athlete, I needed someone else to coach me. But the difference between coaching and the sports coach is that unlike the sports coach, the coach he doesn't know better. He doesn't have the solution. The solution can be only yours. So, for example, that gentleman that wanted to help me and says that I control the world, I explained to him, look, first start by reading. I gave him a list of readings, so he starts to understand what is his life, what he wants, what's important for him, and off he went. He disappeared. Once I gave him something to read, he disappeared. He wanted me to tell him what to do. I cannot tell you what to do because life in Lahore is different. Your options are different. Your knowledge might be different. For example, you have your PhD. Other people don't have, didn't finish high school, etc., etc. So coaching is helping somebody else accomplish their dreams by asking questions, guiding someone towards the direction, but not telling him what to do. Now, this is a very, very basic. But what is, and I will mention one more sentence, the difference between coaching, consulting, etc. So, for example, as I mentioned, coaching doesn't tell somebody what to do. Coaching will ask you questions. So if I was coaching you and you wanted to change a profession, I would say, well, Saif, what is it that you like in what it is that you love in life? And you say, well, what I love in life is really music, or what I love in life is climbing mountains. So I would ask, so why don't you climb mountains if that's what you like? Well, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. So I would ask you, is there any way that you can, in your month, not in your day, in your month, can you do 1 day of climbing? Well, probably yes. Okay, so would you like to try to do one day of climbing for your soul, for your own self, to be happy? And you would say, well, you know what, that's a good idea. And I would, but I don't have the equipment, and I don't have the time. So I would try to help you clarify what is it that you can do, not what you cannot do. So, and the difference between this and consulting is that in consulting, I know better than you. In coaching, I don't know better than you, because your answers will be your answers. And your priorities are your priorities and not my priorities. For example, you want to become a marathon runner. I can tell you from now on, 4 o'clock in the morning, you put on heavy weight on your back. We are running 50 kilometers in the morning. Then we go to sleep. Then again, we eat only carrots. And then in the evening, again, back on the back, and we run another 50 kilometers. And in 3 months, you will be a marathon runner. Maybe it is right for me to do, but it's not necessarily right for you to do. Or if you are now 20 kilograms, okay, you weigh 20 kilograms, it's not something that you can do. Or if you are weighing now 120 kilograms, it's definitely not for you. So the way to become a marathon runner depends on the guy, on his weight, on his will, on his options, etc. So, for example, if I tell somebody he's somebody who wants to become a marathon runner and he's in a cell of 2 meters by 2 meters because he's in jail, can he become a marathon runner? No way. Because in marathon running, you have to develop strength and power and time, etc., etc. So I can tell him till tomorrow what to do and how to do, and to do push-ups and everything else. maybe he become a very strong man, but marathon runner in a cell of 2x2, no way. So that's the difference between coaching and consulting. But the difference between the different branches of coaching. In family coaching, that's one of the more difficult ones because you have to coach a bunch of people together. So family coaching, I will leave to the last. I will say a few words before about something else. So there is personal coaching, what you call life coaching. Life coaching is you want to develop, you want to become something, you want to accomplish some goals in life. You don't know how to do it, or you are afraid to do it. You hesitate to do it, or you tried and failed already, and you hire a coach, and together you are embarking on a trip to excellence. So you're embarking on the trip to develop yourself into becoming what you want to do. Now, here there is something that we have to be aware. In modern Western life, the people think, and this is what we sell. This is what the West is selling to himself. The West, the Western cultures sell this truth to themselves. You can be anything that you want. You can accomplish anything that you dream of. That's not true. That's not true. There's the rule of 10,000 hours. You want to become an expert violinist? Play 10,000 hours, and you will be an expert violinist. Well, that's not true either. If you do 10,000 of hours of violin, you and me, and you are talented, but I'm not talented, you will become a much better violinist with the same amount of hours. Why? Because you have talent also. So it is not true that we can become all that we want. Yes, we can improve our lives a lot, but that's not true that people can do anything they want in their lives. For example, if I want to become the president of the United States, there's no way that I can become, no matter how good I will be, because I'm not an American citizen, and I cannot become the president unless I'm an American citizen. So not everything in life we can do, but a life coach will help somebody improve their life by this method of coaching, which is creating awareness by questioning, then pondering on different options, by adopting an option, and then by developing that option and sticking to it for a long time until you are successful. So that's life coaching. It's the same for profession changing, for finding your sweetheart love, or for other personal things. Then there is business coaching. Business coaching is about coaching people to improve their businesses. A lot of people do stupid stuff in their business, and they don't understand why they are not successful. Like Malik was mentioning before, some people, they open a business, and they think that the business is taking care of itself. Once you take care of a business, you open a business, you have to develop it, you have to think, you have to check it, you have to improve it, you have to see what is working, what is not working. Sometimes somebody from the side can help you better see what is working and what is not working. But that is the list of problems. The big thing is to decide that something that is not working, you're going to change. Sometimes, for example, in your business, something is not working, but you love it so much, you like it so much, you're convinced so much that it's good for you, that you're not willing to change it. And if you are not going to change it, maybe you will not be able to improve your business because you're focusing on the wrong thing. So a business coach will be the guy on the side that will help you see things, gather data, look at the data, examine your fears. Sometimes we are not doing things because we are afraid of, or we are hesitant, or sometimes we do things because we love. We prefer to do things that we love, and we don't do what's necessary. For example, if I now need to do business development in my business as a coach, and instead of that, I'm spending my time with friends from Lahore, my business is not going to grow from it. But if I'm making a show talking about coaching, and become famous, and a lot of people are asking for my coaching, and or reading my books, etc., then yes, then I'm doing the right thing. So I'm not sure that I gave you the correct answer that you were looking for.
Yes, I got the point, but I two questions arise from your discussion. One is 10,000 hours study. How you justify that? Is it from research, or how you justify that 10,000 study is not applicable for everyone? One question. The second question is, what kind of data you need from a person who want business, who want to initiate business?
Well, about the 10,000 hour rule, there is a guy who mentioned this in a book, and there is some research about this 10,000 hour rule. But since I said that I don't find it true, because I gave some examples also why it doesn't work, I wouldn't use this one. The idea is that if you want to be good, you have to put in the effort. You have to put in time. You cannot become good. For example, this gentleman that wants to be rich and he's not caring to read a book or a few articles, I don't think that there is a good chance that he will become rich unless he's a genius and he will find something to do and he will do something. But usually you have to listen, you have to open your eyes, you have to research, you have to look for opportunities, you have to read, you have to talk to people, you have to understand. You cannot just ask somebody, help me, help me, help me. Success doesn't come from that. So that's about the 10,000 hour rule. But I remember that I read also some things about the data. So I will be sending you the 10,000, whatever material I have, I'll send you in a chat, and maybe you can publish it in somewhere if I find it. Regarding the other thing is that ask again, what data you need to gather when you want to open a business? That was the...
Yes, I want to start a business, but what kind of data which help me?
Okay, for example, let's say in your country, do you eat falafel?
Falafel, what do you mean by falafel?
Okay, so it means that you don't. Falafel is a Middle Eastern food. Okay,
Minister food.
Middle East, Israel, Palestine, and Lebanon, falafel. So it's small balls of some dough that they are fried in deep oil, etc. We put them in a pita with hummus and with tahina, and the people love it. And anybody that comes from anywhere to Egypt, to Lebanon, to Israel, they love falafel. Now, if I'm going to open a business of falafel maybe in Pakistan, I'm sure that they will love it. But if I want to open such a business in Vienna, I have to check first if it's going to work. So I have to go to a street corner, open a little thing, do some falafels, and see if people buy it and like it. If people say, I don't like it, then I'm doing the wrong thing. Or if I take a fruit soup, there is in Vienna a fruit soup from cherries, which is done in cold. It's a cold soup, sweet and sour, and it is done with milk. Okay, cherries, milk, some sweet. It's a cold milk. It's a cold soup. If I bring this to Lahore and I open a shop in Lahore, people are going to throw rocks at me because maybe they don't like it. So the point being is that if you have an idea, you have to see if it fits to the place that you want to open it. You have to see if there is customers, if there is a need for that, anybody cares for that. For let's say that you have a wonderful idea of how to make mountain boots, the best mountain boots on earth, but you live in an island, where there's no mountains, there's only sand and sea. Will you be selling your boots? No way, because nobody needs them. Okay, maybe you can send them away, you can export them, etc. But you need a lot of data. What is your idea? What do you want to do? Somebody needs it. How much are people willing to pay for it? And a lot of data about creating a business. So more or less, I gave you an answer.
Malik, you can ask question. Nekam Card is not feeling well today, so maybe he has only 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So you
Okay. If sir has to leave early, sir, I want to ask one or two important questions. Sir, first of all, talking about the business idea. Now, people in the third world countries like Pakistan and South Asia, sir, people have got the ideas, but they don't have the courage to put the
Talk
ideas
slowly.
into a practical shape.
Talk
Sir?
slowly, Malik. Talk slowly because I can't
Okay.
understand. Please.
Okay. Sir, I'm saying now people in the third world countries like Pakistan, they have got a business idea. They actually want to run a business, they want to do it, but sir, they're afraid of not getting a chance, not getting a risk. They're always afraid of not taking the risk.
They are afraid to take the risk. Yeah. Look, creating. I will answer because we lost you for a while, but I will ask for the risk answer for the risk part. You cannot. There is no safe business. There's no real safe business. There's no such thing as a real safe business. So you have to take the risk, but you have to take the right risk. Again, you're not going to open a business of boots, of mountain boots, on an island when there's only sand and sea. So you need to open your eyes to see what people need. For example, in a place where people are hungry, open a food place, but make sure that people have the money to afford it. So don't start a French restaurant, an expensive French restaurant, because nobody has the money to go in. Make simple food, street food, good food, give out some samples, invite people for a free meal, and then start charging money for it, because people will always buy food, but they will look whether it's good, whether it's clean, and whether it's affordable. So, but business without risk, there is no such thing. It's like if you love. I don't know how are your courting habits. I don't know how you guys get married. If you go to a girl and say, "Hi, you're a nice girl. Can I go out with you?" Maybe you go to her father. I don't know. But let's say that there are three very nice girls and you want to meet with them, or one nice girl and you really want to meet with her, but you're shy and you're afraid that she will say no. And for that reason, you never ask her out. Do you think you have a good chance to marry her? No. There's no success without risk. So yes, that is
Absolutely
something.
right.
Yeah, so that is something that coaching deals with, and we go into deep into
So now
understanding.
with this, sir, I would like to move to my next question. This is the second last question. So today I will ask you, sir, we want to give a practical shape to one of our business idea. Sir, actually, we want to run a business related to education. Sir, in Lahore, we have a lot of students here, and I think one of the best, this one. Sir, not only for the worldly gains, we believe that this is the education is the one field where you can make your this life and the life hereafter as well. Because the purpose of the man is to create easiness for the others. The earning is, I think, that's a byproduct that will come automatically. But the priority should be to serve the people. And I think, sir, when one small boy is sitting in front of you, you can guide him, you can tell him the morals, the principles. He will be listening you. Sir, I believe the boy didn't learn much from his father. If his father started to give lecture, that will become a source of boring. But if it comes from the teacher, it's very important. The teacher should be a man of character. Only then his words will have that influence. So, sir, I have
Absolutely.
this dream. I have this big dream that I should open one institution in Lahore. So I was discussing with my friend. We got some female teachers as well, and we are asking, okay, let's start it from our home. Now, if we get 10 to 15 students at home, let's then make it to the academy. then we will increase the academy further. Sir, I want this, how you will guide us and what you will say about this one.
Well, first of all, good for you. I think it's
Thank you,
a
sir.
great. I think it's a great way to start, and it's a wonderful way to minimize risk. You're starting small. You start in a home. You don't spend the money on renting a place, etc. But in order to do something serious in terms of giving some serious guidance, we would need to get into some sort of coaching. But I would see again who is the client population, what is it that they need, who is giving some solutions, in what way the solution that you are going to give is better. Why should people go to you, to your small house, and not to a big institute with nice chairs and cafeteria, etc.? How much it costs? What is the purpose? Who are the people who teach there, etc.? So there's many questions that we need to discuss, and things that you need to consider in order to make that a good enterprise. In any case,
I understood. You're saying you have to see the 4 Ps. What's your product, place, price, promotion, how you will urge your customers to come to you. Why not to the Safeli Academy? Why they come to my academy? Absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right.
Sure,
You're absolutely
sure.
right. So what do you think about our idea?
I think I need to understand what is the exact idea. If I would ask you what is special about your idea, what would you be telling me?
Sir, I think we have targeted one of the Askari 11 is this place where the retired army personnel are living. All the retired army officers, they get the home, that is Askari 11. Now we are targeting that particular place because there the people, sir, they have not the high income. They cannot afford to hire the tutors in their home. They charge so much high. So we want to make sure there should be a quality education at a very reasonable price. And it suits us as the business plan is concerned, because when the students coming to us, if we charge them little lower, I think then we can make a good profit out of it. But I think again the purpose is that to start with the baby step. Why not hire 4 to 6 people in our home first? When we got 8 to 10, let's take the upper portion of our house. Then when 8 to 10, 12, then we will switch on to academy. Again, so the purpose is very noble. The team consists of, right now we are a team of 3. One consists of lady and the 2 males. And we still believe that we'll be targeting, let's suppose I'm very good in maths and science, being an engineer, and being an MBA, I've done it, so I can take the business study. So this is how we are dividing the subjects. But again, sir, we have told one thing to each other, that never ever, if we charge a fees, and will not, our purpose will be just to pass the time. This is our commitment, that whatever we charge from the parents, we will give the service according to that.
Well, I think that what you have to start, though, before charging and before customers and before anything else, I think that what you have to concentrate on is make sure that you have the best product. So you have to focus on that your falafel or your cold soup or your school or your academy has something unique, special, and high quality. And I would first of all focus on that. So only after you have an idea that is different from everybody else, that is unique, that is special. Sometimes it is just the same education that you give to anybody else, but it is done with a personal attention. The kids there will never cry. The kids will be always hugged. The kids will be always watched. The kids will be always guarded for. They will not be able to be harmed by nobody. There will not be a teacher that is doing stupid stuff, etc. So that starts to create quality. That starts to create a quality which you want your business to have. Only after that you go to tuition. Now, tuition depends on what you give. So if you have 5 young teachers like yourself, and they are very high quality, but they are at the beginning of their lives, they can afford to take a small fee. But if you bring in, just for the sake of saying, you bring in an old coach or 5 coaches from America or from Israel or from Europe, they will cost you a lot of money. So if they will cost you a lot
Yeah.
of money, then you cannot afford to give your service cheap. So these are different
Yeah.
considerations. But first, start with the idea, with what is special in your
Absolutely
idea.
right.
What is the dream? Are you able to give the children a special day, a special teaching? What will be the difference between your kids when they finish school and the other kids? So, for example, if your kids will be able after 3 years to know they will be a black belt in martial arts and they will be a PhD, will have a PhD like Saif, and or have anything else that is special, then you have a wonderful product. But if you just give like
Yeah.
everybody else, then you have to be special in something else, in the care, in the love.
Absolutely. Sir, if I want to take one line out of your whole discussion, the one line is, sir, your product should be unique and of high quality. This
And
is where we have to focus on the idea.
that is true. That is true. The second thing is you have to see that in the area you're not selling boots, mountain boots for an island in the sea. And that you take into consideration all the different items of pricing and what can you make, because a lot of businesses, for example, in Israel there's about I don't remember exact data, but there's about 500 new businesses every month
Yes,
opening,
sir.
but there are 400 businesses closing also.
Closing.
because
Yeah.
because people think that they can invent the world and that everything is easy and cheap and no problem. No, life is tough. You have to take risk. You have to make the effort. You have to be smart. You have to be diligent. You have to read. You have to ask. You have to poll. You have to see. Sometimes you have to lose. Sometimes in the development of your academy, you will be deciding that in the first 2 years you're willing to lose money. Okay, lose money. So you will
Yes.
make people donors that will support your school for 2-3 years before you charge anything, before you make 1 cent to your pocket. So you need to
Yeah.
understand the situation and the project and what the chances are. But yes, you
Sir,
need to overcome your fears, your hesitation, and if you love something and you believe in something, go ahead and do it.
thank you very much, sir. These words will be a great source of inspiration, at the same time, great source of caution for us as well. That we have need to be very careful, and initial days we need to not work hard on our plan and planning phase. And it should be, a product should be unique. And again, the purpose is not only to make money, but the purpose is also to win the hearts of the people and those parents of those child as well. Okay, sir. Before
First,
finally we let you,
first
sir.
that, first that, and profit second. The
Yeah, profit is
purpose
second,
yeah.
sir. And sir,
And
before and
when we talk about the product
sir,
includes the service and the special things about it,
absolutely,
not only the teaching. Okay,
yeah,
it's not. I
sir.
know.
Again, sir,
Can you remember a very specialized teacher that he's very smart in his field, but he was an awful teacher? I had
and
a
sir,
math I had a math teacher
okay,
that used to say to people, "You don't have to study. Go build buildings. We need builders also. You don't have to do math."
right, sir.
So he was instead of telling you, "Go work harder. You can do it. You can do it." No, he said, "No, you don't have to. If you're not talented, just go. Don't study math." So
Sir,
what kind of a teacher is that?
sir, absolutely, sir. I've understood. I've concluded, sir. Then right product for the right people, for the right at the right place with the right service. This is what you want to say. And sir, before finally we end this discussion, I want to ask just one last word. Sir, any advice for the life, being a life coach, for spending a successful life? Any advice, sir, from your last word from your side?
About again, ask again.
Sir, I'm saying before we finally end this show and we let you go, the final, sir, final advice for all of us listening for the different phases of the life and for the different walks of life. Sir, any advice for all of us to be successful in our life? Sir, your last advice for all of us?
Mhm. Well, the one it's a very impossible question. Okay, of course.
Sir,
But
sir,
if there is one thing, if there is one thing that I could advise is that we need to remember that fears and hesitations are only thoughts in our mind. Fears and hesitations are only thoughts in our minds. Fears don't exist. You were walking around in the neighborhood? Now I know half of Lahore. Um, did you see a fear in your tour or a hesitation? You cannot see them. Fears are only in our hearts. So we need to remember that these are thoughts. These are normal thoughts. And we need to analyze them and try to go down deep into seeing what they are and where they come from. For example, if you understand that your fears come because of a teacher that told you all the time that you're not good enough, or God forbid, your father said all the time that why are you in the streets all the time and not doing your homework, etc., etc. And now all of a sudden you're afraid of doing all sorts of things because of this or that. When you understand that your fears are only thoughts, then you can overcome them more easily. Maybe this is one, but there's a million answers. We need 5 hours for the next one.
Sir, thank you very much. It was very, very nice time with you, and you have, I think, answered all our questions more than our satisfaction. And sir, once again, from my side, from Safi Ali, we are highly, highly grateful to you, and we look forward to have one more, rather more and more sessions in the future as well. And we will be highly grateful to you, and I hope so, sir, you will continue to be kind on us, and you will give your precious time to us in future as well, sir.
I will. First of all, I thank you. I thank you for your wonderful questions. I thank you for listening.
Sir,
And
sir,
I will be more than happy to do this again soon. And
sir.
I can tell you that we answered from your 2 lists of questions. Maybe we answered 5 questions out of 200.
Sir. Sir, from our side is once again, thank you very much. And sir, it's good night. See you next time, sir. Allah.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shukriya. Shukriya.
Thank you, sir. Shukriya. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank
Stay safe. Bye bye.